A driving examiner once told me he can tell in the first minute if someone is truly ready for their driving test. And that's not because they made massive mistakes, it's not because they stalled, it's all about the little habits that make you look like a learner. And the really annoying bit is when you go for your driving test, most of these learners can actually drive, you can actually drive, you've just been taught wrong or you're thinking about the whole driving test all wrong. So in this video, I am going to share with you 3 advanced habits I share with my learners to make you look safer, calmer, and most importantly, much more test ready. Because if you feel good and the examiner feels good, guess what's going to happen? You're going to pass your driving test. If this is the first time, guys, you're watching one of my videos, I am Josh, the driving instructor. I am here to help, to share, and to be myself. And honestly, I spend half of my time these days just trying to calm people down from this whole test mentality after maybe watching too much TikTok or whatever else, and just trying to get people back in the room of what the driving test is actually all about. And it's not all about trying to screw you over. And the first advanced habit that every driving test examiner wants to see is using speed to create time. So the big part of this habit is trying to change your mentality from driving slowly everywhere is the best decision, because it's not. It's about understanding when we should keep up with traffic and when we shouldn't. That's the key. So, as an example, if I'm pulling off here, my priority isn't to pull off as gently and slowly as possible, it's to get up to the speed with the flow of traffic, because I don't want that person behind me to have to slow down. The slower I go with it, the more chance I have of slowing that person down. And what's the golden rule when we pull out of any junction or roundabout? Don't slow people down. That's your priority. And following on from that, we're on a nice open clear road. There is no hazards between that curb and that line, and that's all you ever should be focused on. What is between these 2 lines? If there is nothing between the lines, that is a very good indicator to you that you should make progress. Progress means getting from A to B as quickly and safely as possible. That's what big roads like motorways and dual carriageways are for, and roads when they're nice and clear. This means we can get up to speed and we can do 30 miles per hour. Perfect. Until we spot a hazard. A hazard could be anything that slows us down. In this instance, if we look at that sign, what's coming up? A roundabout. Best way we can deal with a roundabout, for instance, is give our brain time to think. The best way to do that? Slow down. So slowing down, I can look to the right, I've got loads of time to think, and I can see that it's clear, giving me the best chance of being able to carry on driving without stopping. And what is your aim at a roundabout? To keep going. Your ideal world would be to never have to stop driving at all. Stopping is the enemy. It also makes you look far better to the examiner if you understand when to slow down. Because that's what the examiner is looking for. They're looking to see that you understand when to make progress, when to keep up with the traffic, when to keep the flow, and when you need to slow down. And the best way is any hazard, meaning anything between that curb and that line, and we slow down. So I'm approaching the roundabout, we're going to be turning left. I'm in 2nd gear and I'm jogging speed. Anytime you approach a roundabout, jogging speed. And we're looking and it's nice and clear. Oh, bloody hell, that's clear. Loads of time. And then you can floor it. Get your gas going, because that's the priority. We do want to keep the flow. What's coming up? Another roundabout. We're going to be turning left. Now we're looking to the right. And is there anything there? Yes, there's a car, but because I slowed down really early, I could slow down more, adjust for behind the car, and then pull out after the car. If I ran into the roundabout way too fast, there is no way I could adjust for that. Now the idea with slowing down at the roundabout is it then gives us time to look much earlier. If we go too fast again into the roundabout, we are not going to have time to be looking to the right, because we are our brain knows the danger that we are going into the roundabout far too quick. And this will lead you to have to stop at every roundabout. So if you're watching this thinking, I hate roundabouts, this is one of the reasons why. Ask yourself, are you going too fast? Could you be going slower into the roundabout? If the road is clear and safe, and the speed limit allows it, you should generally be keeping up with normal traffic, such as this. Because what we really have to remember is there's nothing special about you because you're on a driving test. You are still the same as every other driver. So you have to act like it, even if you don't feel like it. So I've taken 2 fresh students out last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Lauren and Jesse, both ready for their driving test, learning off with other driving instructors. They just wanted a last minute double check, are they ready or not? Both of them was a really easy fix. All I had to do was say, slow down earlier before roundabouts and junctions, and that is it. The second we did that, boom, everything was fixed. And this is what I see all of the time. So trust me, have a go, slow down earlier, because it's reverse psychology. If you slow down earlier for the roundabout and the junction, you have less chance of stopping. If you have less chance of stopping, what does that mean for the traffic behind you? They have less chance of stopping. What do they want? To not have to stop. If you rush into the roundabout, less time to think, less time to react, brain panics, brake goes on, we stop at every roundabout. What's happening to traffic behind us? They are stopping as well. Can you see where I'm going with this? By the way, if you want to put these 3 advanced tips into practice on a test route or on your mock test, have a look at our app, drivingtestexpert.com. There's a free route on there for every test centre in the country. Be a great place to practice this at the same time and give you some independent driving, which is the key to passing your driving test. Now, the second advanced tip that we are going to learn today is to look for space, not for danger. And this one is the most important thing you can learn when driving. Again, I see it all of the time, and you can tell when someone is doing it. Now, bear with me. The natural thing to do when we are learning to drive is look for danger. We are scared, our brain goes into panic mode, like when you're walking down the street and you spot something, you know, you can sense if there's danger. And that's what happens when we learn to drive. We're driving along and we're looking at the danger, which is often the oncoming cars. Now, the problem with this is you can't function properly or drive properly when you're staring at things coming at you. It's not fun, it's not going to make you feel better, and it's certainly not going to improve your driving. And what happens is, as we're driving down the road, when you stare at the oncoming vehicle, you do one of 2 things. One, you tend to drive away from it, but you've got no awareness at all what's going on this side of the road. The second thing people often do, it's like in planes when pilots are driving a plane, they're told never to look at the mountains. Why? Because your hands follow your eyes. So if you stare at an object, often we will drive towards the object. Again, not a good thing when driving staring at oncoming vehicles. What we have to do instead is always look at our space. In this situation, for instance, I would just be looking between the curb and the white line. That's where I want the car to go. Never look where you don't want the car to go. And that just purely means the focus point. So, you know, right now you're watching this and you can look at me, but you could still see exactly what's happening all the way around. And when I'm driving down here, I can still see in the corner of my eyes if there's a vehicle coming down the side or whatever else is happening, but that's not my focus point. As long as your focus point stays on where you want the car to go, you're going to feel much better about the situation. A really good phrase to remember is fast into the problem usually means slow out the problem. Slow in means smooth out. Now, one of the most important places that you can make sure you are looking for space and not for danger is one of the 3 big things in the UK, roundabouts. Roundabouts. If you are watching this saying, I hate roundabouts, which I commonly come across, I'm going to show you why that is. I taught a guy, very, very clever, doctor. He was training to be a doctor in Cambridge, far more intelligent than I am. And he had one big problem, and that was roundabouts. And he just hated them. He was ready for his test, but he absolutely hated roundabouts. And I said, well, what are you looking for? Cars. Never look for cars. What are cars? Cars equal danger. So literally within 5 minutes of his 2-hour driving lesson, we fixed an ongoing problem that he had been having for hundreds of hours because he didn't realize, and no one had pointed out, you shouldn't be looking for the cars. If you look for the cars, it's far harder to find a gap because you're constantly going to find a car. When you find the car, when you're looking for a car, what does your brain say? Oh, there's a car. Excellent. Stop. Quick, stop. But the car might be miles away. We don't need the car, we need the space. There's an example right there, looking for space. Now, I saw a van, but there's a space before the van. So what do? I know I can put my foot down, get up to speed, so the van doesn't have to slow down. That is an example of looking for space at junctions. Now we come to a roundabout. Now all I'm doing, I'm going straight on the roundabout, so I'm getting into second gear, I'm slowing down earlier. Yes, there's people behind me, but that's okay. I want everyone to carry on if possible. Now I'm looking for space. There is a car there. Again, I can see his signal. Space. There we go. Enough said. See a car, see the signal, carry on. I mean, don't always trust the signal. That's a whole different conversation. But point being, look for space, look for the signals that indicate that you can go. Now remember this, everywhere you go, everyone around you is also looking for space. So if you slow down because you're worried about a situation, even though the rules say you shouldn't, such as a meeting traffic or you're worried someone might pull out, guess what they're going to do? If you give them space, they're going to pull out. And that's what you have to remember. Everyone at the roundabout around you is looking for space. So we're looking to the right now. There's 3, 4, there's loads of cars, but I don't care. I'm just looking for the space. This car in front's looking for space. So he's looking for someone to come around the roundabout and block them, which will give us space, or he's looking for a gap. You also don't want to stare at the car that's there. You want to look behind the car. So this Mercedes, I'm looking behind the Mercedes. Is there a space behind? No, because there's a Jag. After the Jag, is there a space? We don't care about the Jag? Yes. There's a car coming around. I don't care. I'm going to get out before he gets to me. I know that. A-okay. Look for the space, not for the cars. Now that's going to take a bit of practice, easier said than done, especially if you've trained yourself to look for cars. The longer you've trained yourself to look for cars, the harder it's going to be to undo. It's like building a habit of brushing your teeth. Same time every day. What you do it. Easy peasy. Try and undo it. It takes a little bit longer. The longer you've done it, the harder it becomes. But I promise you, your driving experience and your driving on your driving test will be a million times better. Another really important place that we need to make sure we're looking for space, not for cars, is meeting traffic situations. For instance, parked cars. If I stare at this van, it makes me want to go into the van, not around the van. Instead, what I do need to do is I need to make sure there's enough space to the van. The really common thing that people do in meeting traffic situations is they stare at the oncoming car. And as I point out to people, which one's going to dodge you? The one coming at you or the one that's parked? And the problem is they stare at the oncoming car and then we just drive, woo! Not what we want. So instead, when there's an oncoming car, we have to try and be aware of this side. This is the harder side because you're on this side of the car, and make sure you're that door's width from the parked car. Practice that and make sure you're slowing down for the situation and you will be A-okay. So think of it like this. Cars, lorries, danger tells you where not to go. Space tells you where you should go. Look for the space, you will find it so much easier to get out and get going much more often. And that applies everywhere. Junctions, roundabouts, you name it, traffic lights, you can go if there's space. So which one of these gets you more, roundabouts or meeting traffic? Meeting traffic is parked cars, oncoming car situation. Which one is more of a problem and why? Because I'm trying to figure out what video to make next. And it's not sexy, but it is just true. It's about using your mirrors to make decisions, not just doing it to be an owl. We're not owls. We're not just there to tick a box. I was teaching Libby yesterday, actually, and she was talking about a previous driving test. She decided to have a go on her own. And she said that one of the serious faults she got was from repeatedly not checking her mirrors. And she said she felt like a friggin' owl. There are her words. I felt like a friggin' owl, Josh. And I had to try and explain to her, and I try and explain to everyone. And the problem is there's so much TikTok and crap out there now that it's really, really hard and confusing. If the examiner doesn't see you check your mirrors, it's not about that. The examiner's only looking to see that you're checking your mirrors when you actually need to check your friggin' mirrors. So if you're checking your mirrors when you don't need to, you don't get bonus points for that. The examiner doesn't care. You just look like a wally. You look like a learner because you don't know when to check your mirrors. Do you see what I'm saying? It's about smart, effective looking and seeing, not just random looking and seeing. And the basic skill is check your mirrors. The advanced skill that I'm going to teach you today is effectively when to check your mirrors and how to check them. Now, every mirror you check should answer a question in your head. If you think about what question is it answering, that's going to massively help your reason for checking the mirror. If there is no question to answer, then of course the mirror is not important. Now, the first thing to think about, okay, is when you look in a mirror, what do you want to see? Well, ideally, nothing. Nothing is good, really good, because if there's nothing there, what does that mean? There's no danger, there's no hazard, there's no issue. Easy. Driving so much easier when there's nothing there. You don't want to look in and go, there's nothing there, so it's pointless. I keep checking my mirror, there's nothing there. What's this guy on about? Good, good. We don't want anything there. What are the questions these mirrors are going to answer? Well, the first question is, like in this situation, I want to pull over on the left. I'm slowing down. Is there anyone close behind me? No. Excellent. No problemos then. At the end of this road, I'm turning left, which means my car's going to go around to the left. So I need to check, is there anyone coming down the left side? No. No one behind me or coming down the left side. Excellent. Now shortly, I'm going to be turning right. So I need to answer the question, is there anyone behind me? Because one, I'm going to be slowing down. I don't want them to hit me bum bum. And two, that's happened on this road before actually. I'll show you the crack in my bumper. Two, is there anyone overtaking? Motorbikes, cars, scooters, you name it. Oh, there's a van behind me, he's right up my backside. Nice early signal. There we go. What's he going to do? He's going to back off a little bit, hopefully. There we go. And there's nothing overtaking, which is good. And now we're going to go around a parked car, which means we're going to be moving our car right over there. So guess what we're going to be looking for? Is there anyone next to us? No, but there is a meeting traffic situation there. He's waited. There's no one next to me, so I can pull out and not smash someone off their bike. Win. And the final question is, if I get up to speed quickly, if I change speed quickly, am I going to affect anyone around me? For instance, if I'm going from a 30 zone to a 50 zone, that's a perfect time to put your foot down. But if you've got Ferrari or motorbike behind you, guess what they might also do? Overtake. So it's just a case of looking what's happening, because you don't want to start racing someone with an oncoming car, just creating more danger. Or if an ambulance is coming, that's also some time that you might not want to speed up as much as you originally planned. So just remember guys, when you're looking in your mirrors, you are looking to answer one of those 5 questions. And most importantly, if you don't see anything there, that is fantastic. The problem solving time comes if you do see something there, because that's bad news. That means you need to fix something quick. So those are the 3 habits. Use your speed to create time. Look for space instead of danger. That is an absolute priority. And use mirrors to make decisions and answer questions. Now, none of these are magic tricks. They are just the difference between a learner driver and someone that's ready to drive on the road. And they stand out like a sore thumb. I can promise you, I can tell within 2 roundabouts if someone's looking for space or danger. Now, I want you to be honest in the comments below, which one of these gives you away the most? Is it speed, looking for space, or is it your mirrors? And if your test is coming up, let us know. When is it? What month? How many of you are getting very close to your driving test? Best of luck. Josh, the driving instructor, out.